Bob says he really likes this episode because it's one that everyone can do. And it's ones like these that if you're not very good at painting, you can do this and you can get the confidence to start doing other stuff and harder, better paintings. So he says this is a great one to get into painting if you're a little scared or anything. What's up everyone, and welcome back to Ross. I'm Ross, and this is the channel where I let Bob Ross teach me how to paint. Today I'm going to be doing season 26, episode 7, Snow Birch. And this one's a little different. Bob's got a dry black canvas, and Bob actually starts out using gray gesso, which I don't have, so I just mixed up some normal gray and oil colors. And we're gonna see how that works out. Instead of starting with the sky, Bob actually starts with some background trees using his gray. So let's see what we can do with this. His trees are much skinnier than mine. Maybe I'll use a different brush. Maybe I'll use this one. And then Bob takes some more gray and makes some reflections of those. He says they don't have to be exact though, so don't worry too much about it. So next, Bob takes a little bit of paint thinner and he gets that in this gray. And we're gonna use this and our little nervous twitch to put in some tree branches. And now Bob wants us to go down and copy that at the bottom. I don't think that's gonna go so great, but you know. Oh, that came out better than I thought it would. Alright, now we're gonna do a similar thing for the trees in the foreground, but we're just gonna use white. Now, Bob uses white gesso for that, which I don't have, so I'm just gonna use oil paints again and we'll see how it turns out. We're gonna make some reflections for those. And just like with the last trees, I'm gonna take a little bit of my paint thinner, get that in my titanium white. And we're gonna paint some limbs on these. Now this next technique is certainly something I've never done before. Bob gets a little bit of his paint thinner, thins down some black. I'm sure that was way too much paint thinner. I guess that'll work. Bob takes his palette knife and he's just gonna kind of flick this. And then with a clean brush, Bob just really lightly comes over this and streaks them to make it look like a birch tree. Okay, well that's too cool. Wow, that looks great. Dang it, Bob. So what Bob did is he was just showing us these techniques so that he could let his gesso dry, and he brought out a picture that had all of this but completing the whole painting. So I'm gonna have to go ahead and fill in the rest of this with the same thing I did here. Alright, after that dirty prank that Bob pulled, this is what we ended up with. So I just did the same gray in the background and white trees, and then I did that spritzy trick, which came out great. While we were doing that, Bob also showed us one of his owl friends, which was awesome. He said this owl would love to live in these woods. Don't keep them as pets because they want to be free. Now, I did kind of dig myself a hole here by using the dug myself a hole here by using the oil paints instead of gesso, because the next thing that Bob does is coat the whole thing in liquid clear, and then he starts going over it with different colors. And if I did that right now, all of this would just smudge. So I'm gonna have to come back to it another day. Alright, I am back after that foolish mistake of thinking that I could use oil paint instead of gesso. But my painting is now completely dry and looking pretty good, so I'm gonna get started right where we left off. Bob's gonna have us take some of our liquid clear and just put a nice thin coat over the whole painting. Alright, we're finally going to start laying some color in here. So Bob's going to take a little bit of Indian yellow, which I don't have, so I'm going to use lemon yellow since I read that's the closest thing. He lays that in right at the base of our trees here. And then he does the same for the bottom part here. Alright, now we're going to get a tiny bit of the phthalo blue. And just going to lay that from the top down. And we're going to do that the same on the bottom. Bob says he really likes this episode because it's one that everyone can do. And it's ones like these that if you're not very good at painting, you can do this and you can get the confidence to start doing other stuff and harder, better paintings. So he says this is a great one to get into painting if you're a little scared or anything. Bob wants to darken this up a little bit, so he puts a little extra blue in the corners. Ooh, that was too much. Let me just wipe some of that off. It's funny that I did that because Bob also made a mistake and said, oh, that's no worries, we can just get a little paper towel and wipe it off and try again. Alright, Bob gets a tiny bit of titanium white on his fan brush. He wants to put a little bit of snowy areas in the background, so he doesn't want you to be able to see it too well. Now we're gonna get serious and load a lot of titanium white into the bristles here. We're gonna lay in the snow that's closer to us. Alright, Bob takes a clean, dry brush and he's gonna pull down to give these some reflections. And he gives it the swoop. Really light. Just to make it look like it shimmers. I'm gonna put another little bank over here. And maybe one more little guy down here. I'm gonna get a little bit of my paint thinner. Just mix that in some of this, oh, my titanium white's gone, huh? Gonna use this to lay in some water lines. Trying to not have to get out anymore. And it looks like all I got left is to sign my name. Finally, we have a finished painting. It's about 2 weeks, week and a half after I started this. I had no idea that the gesso was going to need to dry before I could do this top layer, so I totally did that to myself. But I think it came out amazing. These background trees look so cool. That little splatter technique to give them the bark came out amazing, and These colors in the background look so great. The water and the snow came out good too, and Bob was totally right. This is an easy one that can help give you some confidence painting. So if you've been scared to start trying to paint, start with this one. Season 26, episode 7. If you liked this content, please like and comment on the video and subscribe to my channel already. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.